when He reveals the price He's going to pay. We've heard it so many times. While they're eating a meal. They're not thinking about He's going to die tomorrow. They're sharing a good time, a celebration time. A feast that celebrates something God did. And it says, while they're eating, He took bread, gave thanks, and broke it. How many times have we stopped eating to pray? We usually pray at the beginning of the meal, don't we? He breaks bread, He prays, and gives it to the disciples, saying, take it, it's my body. Then He gives them the cup, gives thanks. It says, this is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many. I tell you the truth, I will not drink again of this. I won't be able to show you this kind of friendship again. I won't be able to be in this situation again until the kingdom comes. There's something about this common bond that transforms the disciples. And it's really amazing how transformed they are. If you read the book of Acts, you find this group of men, again, with very different backgrounds, different ideas, different personalities, standing before the religious leaders of the day and saying, we have to talk about Jesus Christ. There's nothing else we'd rather talk about than our best friend and what He did for us. It was Jesus Christ who said, that's what friendship is, wasn't it? Real love was laying down your life for your friends. When you have something in common, it binds you together. I was in a car accident when I was a teenager. One of my sort of close friends, he decided to say, let's go for a ride to town and pick up some stuff. And it was roads kind of like today. There was no snow plows going by like there is right now. But we were going down this road, and it was almost back to my mom's house, and there was this curve coming up, and he said, watch this. It's never a good thing when a teenager says to another teenager in a car, watch this, right? You know that? He says, watch this, and he pulls the emergency brake. And we do this cool little skid, right? Side to side, and he pulls out of it. This was fun, right? That was cool. He says, watch it, and he does it again. And this time the car turns sideways. We're sliding down the road. And I look out, I'm on the passenger side, I look out my window and I see the end of the road because it comes to a T intersection. And I'm thinking, this is not good, right? Sliding sideways down the road going about 80 kilometers an hour. And he starts to crank the wheel around and the car spins right around and now we're going backwards down the road. This is still not good. And then we hit the shoulder and the car flips right over on its roof. And there we are hanging upside down. Looking at the ceiling going, hey look, it's all his cassette tapes and his change and everything else that was in the car laying on the roof. And he looks over at me and he says, are you okay? I said, yeah. I said, you okay? Yeah. And we watched the windshield go, just go crunch. And then he says, my parents are going to kill me. You can't buy that kind of connection, my friends. Peter and I will always be bound by that common experience. Whenever we get together, inevitably, at some point in the conversation, we talk about that day. That bond we have, that we survived something together. And these disciples are discovering that in this moment of the Lord's Supper. That what Jesus did is not only open the door to friendship with God, but to friendship with one another thanks to this common bond. He made it possible for people to be real friends. Not superficial and shallow. Not based just in you like hockey together, but to share something that literally involves life and death. The presence of God is possible through Jesus Christ. In John 14, Jesus said to His disciples, if anyone loves me, he will obey my teaching. My Father will love him, and He will come to him, and we will come to him, rather, and make our home with him. You want to be a friend of God, you want to be a friend with one another, it requires us to be obedient to the common goal that Jesus has given us. To serve Him, to follow Him. To have the presence of God within us, that we can share these things. My best friend Gary Foster and I, we used to debate Christianity all the time before he became a Christian. We used to discuss whether or not God was real and how it could be that the Bible was true. And as much fun as those debates were, it always broke my heart that I couldn't share with him when God was doing great things because he would just say, oh, it's a coincidence. But the day came when he trusted the Lord and became friends with God. And now when I call him up, I can say, guess what just happened at my church? Or guess what God just did in my family's life? Or guess what I heard about this person being healed? And he'll celebrate with me. That's a real friend. Real friendship follows the example of Jesus, who told us to love each other as I have loved you. The book of Hebrews, which says, let mutual love continue. Philippians, where we're challenged to do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than ourselves. That's a real friend. That's what we're called to. In Galatians, we're called to carry each other's burdens. In Corinthians, we're told that we will praise God for the obedience that accompanies our confession of the gospel of Christ, and our generosity in sharing with them and everyone else. When we do Outflow, when we do youth ministry, when we do WMS, when we do all these different programs and ministries, we're sharing together, we're bearing one another's burdens, we're being friends. That's what we're called to. We're even called to restore one another. It says also in the book of Galatians, if someone is caught in a sin, you who are spiritual should restore him gently. Gently. So often, I've heard it said that as Christians, when we find somebody has a sin in their life, we're like sharks in a feeding frenzy. There's blood in the water and we go after them. How many great church leaders, haven't you seen that happen in recent years? That they fell, they turned out to be human. How many people maybe haven't you known in your own lives that fell? They turned out to be human, and we forgot to restore them gently. That's what friends do. Friends are willing to tell friends the truth, but they do it with love. Friends share sorrows. It says in 1 Corinthians 12, if one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. And friends pray together. Ephesians 6 says, pray in the Spirit on all occasions, with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the saints. Real friendship is only possible through Jesus Christ. I know many of you say, well, I got a great friend that doesn't know the Lord. You may, but there's always going to be something missing without Jesus in common. There will always be something missing, and our task is to share Christ. John 13, Jesus said, a new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. Because by this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. Folks, I don't know what you're struggling with this morning. I don't know why you're even here this morning, except that I believe we share Jesus Christ in common. When you place your trust in Him, His death and resurrection that we celebrate at the table today, you're acknowledging that you want to be friends with God, but you're also becoming friends with one another. Jesus laid His life down for us, and we become real friends with each other when we're willing to lay our lives down for each other. When we're willing to give up our time and our treasure and our talents for the good of someone else. My question is simple. What kind of friend are you this morning? Are you a friend of God, first of all? Have you trusted Jesus Christ and chosen to be obedient to Him? Accepted that gift of friendship? Can you truly say this morning what we sang at the start of the service? I am a friend of God. If not, trust Jesus who made it possible. Are you a friend of God? Have you been willing to do and live your life His way according to His will? Or are you afraid, like Adam and Eve, hiding in the garden, afraid that their friend might find out what we've really been up to? Are you a friend of God this morning? Have you chosen to recognize the common bond you have with other Christians and choose to celebrate that? Do you get up in the morning and think, oh good, it's church today? Or do you think, oh good, I get to see my friends today? And to share Christ together. Thanks to Jesus Christ, your real friends will never leave you or forsake you. You can never be separated from them. I just invite you to pray with me this morning that God would show you how to be a real friend. That He would teach you how to be friends with Him through Christ. And be a real friend to one another. In a time when more and more we need friends to turn to. In a hard and difficult world. Let's pray together.